and we are
Oh, there we go.
both audible as we come into the first episode of the new year. Welcome, folks, to the 105th episode of the JAC Show in the year of 2022. And of course, I am the generally beautiful and moronic hack.
And I am Pun Master Jack. I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
It's all right. Pun Master will do.
Wouldn't I be for? I feel like I'm now starting off forgetful for the year.
Well,
I'm gonna
keeping
snatch your title away.
fine. You can keep the moronic. I'll keep the beautiful.
Dang, I played myself.
Yes, you did.
No, sadly, I didn't have that as a soundboard.
The
been
Boa DJ Khaled.
Yeah, congratulations, you played yourself.
Oh yeah. Speaking of soundboard, would you like to give our audience a sample, please?
All right. Let's see. I got this one. I think this one's a favorite for both of us, especially since it's something from a Spider-Man movie we saw before.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Freak Show! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of playtime!
Ah, Sugoi.
Fun fact, I did hear. Okay, so whenever I was doing the recording to figure out how the whole soundboard thing worked, I was playing with my brother Back for Blood, and we were playing in a multiplayer game. And this one Indian dude, he was having the time of his life. He was just like saying, "Don't worry, my friends, I'll carry you to the end. We'll win this.
Oh,
They'll
that's
never."
nice.
And he's like, "They'll never get past 2 minutes." And then I'm like, "Oh, that's a perfect moment for me to put in Randy Savage."
It was fate. You were fated to meet that Indian man.
And the Indian man was just so excited, not because it was Randy Savage. I think he literally did not know who it was. But he was just like, yes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes only.
3 minutes. But that's a pure wholesome. That's a pure wholesome moment, though. That's nice. Now I gotta step up my production. Now. Freaking Jack's gonna outpace you with these live streams.
Yeah, I already have my voice. I didn't do it for everyone else yet, but I have the voice changer.
Voice modulator tour.
The thing is, I can't really show it right now because on the Twitch side, it's actually not going to be heard.
Which means I still have time to catch up. Don't worry. I'm sure I'll figure out something to make my streams more ear popping, eye popping,
ear popping.
Ear.
You want ear rape? Okay, I'm gonna
play the THX sound.
Oh no, I got this one.
I always wonder what that original clip actually is.
Crap, I forgot. Yes, it was literally that where one guy was looking up something on the computer, and the FBI showed up out of nowhere.
what's funny is well, not funny, but it hasn't is that I'm glad I started to take a break from Twitter during these past few weeks because life has not been fun for me. It has,
really?
No, it has not, because I mean, there's tons of things that there's other things I didn't talk about because last episode was all pure JoJo and nothing but JoJo. But
yep.
And obviously we'll get to the Spider-Man No Way Home talk, but just want to vent out that for the past few weeks, work life has been extremely stressful. People are getting sick. The boss decided to go on vacation. Had to commit to long hours at the last minute, which is not fun in a retail environment. And on top of that, so many Christmas things I got to prepare for the church. I kid you not, Jack. We had about essentially 3 days to prepare like a very small Christmas concert for the Christmas service.
Oh no!
And I had to whip out my old saxophone. We did it because luckily Christmas music is easy as heck. But still, having to get everyone here and everyone have their instruments and making sure all the music is appropriately written and all of that, we somehow pulled it off, and with only just 3 days and like only 2.5 rehearsals.
Well, I congratulate you on that. That's pretty quick and pretty good.
I just wish my mom would have had this ready, but she's also busy doing things, but busy with her own thing as well. So literally, because she really wants to do it, it just so happens that the only time she can do it was like the week of, or the week of the Christmas service. But we survived, and then by the time New Year's came, dude, I was like so stressed out, and I was very glad when they come in no streams and anything like that. I was like, I need to kind of step away a bit and just really recharge, because it was this last like 3 or 4 weeks just been stressful for me.
Okay, but yeah, I mean that's good. I don't really. I'm more of a lurker when it comes to Twitter. Well, Twitch too, but Twitter. So I don't really experience the toxicity much of Twitter. I don't try to focus it too much.
It's more like I see it and I'm like, I'm gonna choose to ignore it. But it's one of those things where it's like if someone flings feces at flings, it's like turning on the corner, it's like turning on the corner, and you just seeing a homeless man masturbating in public. You know, like you don't have to engage with him. In fact, you should probably ignore him. But the fact you see him do it every day as you walk past that corner just doesn't help, especially when that's the only route for you to go. No other routes can work. It's like that.
Gotcha.
But it's nice. But I'm glad I took was just away from social media. Pretty much go full isolation mode. Essentially, not completely, but essentially, and just recharge. Because now I feel all better. Work is back to normal, and I mean, we're gonna talk about one of my favorite superheroes ever, the emissary from hell, Spiderman.
Wait, I don't remember that nickname.
Well, that's because that is the Japanese. That is the title for the Japanese Spider-Man. The Toku one.
Yes, the freaking
the emissary from hell.
I remember watching it and it was like a fever dream, but at the same time I forgot about it.
The best. I wish Ghetto was here in the chat so he can share with me. He shared me a WebM, not a video, WebM, and what it was is someone digitally added in the Toku Spider-Man into the final into the climactic scene in No Way Home at the end. And the best part about it looks so seamless. You're like, oh my god. Like whoever did that editing job had to give all praise, because he took this old very like 70s footage of Japanese Spider-Man and edited it and fixed up the lighting so he looked like he was a part of the scenery. It was a really well done edit. But now that intros out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the menace that is Spider-Man No Way Home. And as a warning, as read in the title, this is a full spoiler discussion. So if you have not seen the movie, then you should probably watch this stream at a later time after you've seen it, and it should only be seen by people who either A, do not care for spoilers, B, people who have already seen the movie, or C, if you don't care about the movie but you just want to hear what happens.
Or
So,
D, you gave it to a friend and you're trolling him by making him look at the spoilers.
sure. To find spoilers 20 minutes into this long 2-hour live stream.
Yep.
and so with that, you have been warned. All right. So, so first I actually want to preface this because I have stated on video, no less, that I had no plans to watch this movie. Now, and so I want to state this: if Jack did not invite me to watch the movie with him and his brother, I most likely wouldn't have not seen the movie. And however, I'll also state that I believe my friendship with Jack is more important than whatever opinions I may have of Marvel, of Marvel, whether it be the Marvel Studios or the comics. At the end of the day, it's nice to do something with friends, and my, I guess what would be biases shouldn't be in the way of that.
Yeah.
So that is, I won't say it's an excuse. That is my reason. And anyone who, I doubt it, but for anyone who is, I guess, miffed or possibly perplexed of that decision, well, go get a best friend and you'll maybe see what I'm talking about. All right. So it's disclaimer out of the way. Now on to the actual movie. So, I think we should do the same thing, Jack, like we did with JoJo. First off, we'll give like one word to describe how we think about the movie after a 3-second countdown. Got it?
All right, I got it.
Here we go. You will say the word after 1. So, 3, 2, 1. It's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good. And to be honest, I was genuinely surprised. I was like, "Oh, it's a good movie." It didn't piss me off like the first one. It didn't piss me off so much that I didn't see the second one, although from what I understand it's funny about that second movie, The Far From Home. The only thing I ever hear people talk about that movie is literally just the ending. No one else talks about anything else in that movie, but literally just the ending, which tells me a lot.
Yeah, I also have to tell the fun fact about the whole time when we were there. I had to give like a quick synopsis of 1 and 2 to my brother because he just I told him to watch the other 2 first and then get to this one because I think it was on Disney Plus.
No, they're not.
Or if not, it was like $3 rental.
Oh man,
on YouTube.
You're breaking me here.
And he just tends to be the guy that doesn't kind of forgets about doing these type of things, like to watch something ahead of time.
You know what?
So,
that certainly explains why I overhearing you answering his questions.
It wasn't him answering questions. I just kind of knew he was gonna ask me a question, so I automatically try to respond to him. Like the part when Tom Holland Spiderman was confused about Nick Fury being away from the planet. Like I had to literally whisper to him again because I explained it to him before the movie, but he most likely forgot. So I explained it yeah, that it was shown in the second movie that was a scroll the whole time. He's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, what's a scroll?
That I wouldn't have been able to tell him that well. I just know that.
And then you had to then ask me, "Hey, Hack, what's a scroll?"
Yeah, like over the shoulder.
That had to be like, I was like, why were you asking about scrolls? It's Spider-Man. Fantastic Four in here.
But yeah, I had to give him some quick details. Really, that's the funny thing. That's the good. Well, it's the sucky thing, but it's also the good thing for being short and sweet to the point when it came to giving a quick synopsis. Literally nothing memorable happened in Spider-Man 2 other than the fact
as in Far From Home, not the Spider-Man 2. Just
not the Spider-Man 2.
That's for clarification.
Yeah, from Far From Home. I don't know. They all have home in it, and I'm confused. Other than Homecoming.
I found that's a weird decision. Like, why did all of it has to have a home subtitle? They kind of back themselves in the corner with that one.
So, the bad thing and good thing about Far From Home is that literally the only important thing happened at the end, so you can easily explain to someone what happened. Like, oh yeah, Mysterio told people that he died by Peter Parker.
And
there you go.
Yep, and then there you go. And I do like it. To talk about actually No Way Home, that the movie does start off with essentially the ending to the second movie, so it's like immediately after. Now, which that tells me a lot, because I did not see the second movie and just knew of it. It pretty much just knowing the ending just helps you enough to follow the plot for this movie. Like, you literally did not have. That is both the good and bad thing. That second movie is literally not needed so much. I mean, not needed. And obviously you still need this Mysterio thing, but if the matter of the fact, all of that matters is just the end of that movie and not whatever that journey was for Peter, that enforces his decision in this movie, kind of says a lot.
Yeah.
Now, as for the main plot itself, let me put my nerdy critic glasses that I stole from Jack. $500 glasses. With that, that's the disc, and that's with the discount.
You know what?
That's how bad Jack's eyesight is.
I think you already. I think it was more because I put in the extra stuff on it, like transition, so from the sunlight stuff and anti-glare and
AI
minimize blue light.
It's made out of the Mjolnir armor, Halo Mjolnir,
made out of vibranium.
It pretty much, you have Tony Stark's glasses. That's what it is. It is just as hipstery.
They're not hipstery. It's this or thick frames, and even the people that
you get the ones with the cat things that all librarians wear.
Oh god,
makes them quirky.
No, makes them sassy, not quirky.
Tell that to the librarians and teachers. Anyways, so as for the plot of this movie, it's, if you've seen any of the advertisements, it is what it is. After Peter Parker's identity is revealed through essentially to the entire world, the Peter has to deal with the consequences of that. And so for the beginning of the movie, we actually get to see of that. And I will say that movie Peter got the nicer version of it than comic Peter when that exact situation happened. Because in the comics, when he actually voluntarily revealed his identity, thank you Tony Stark for that terrible decision. Guess what happened immediately after?
Then they started raiding his house.
No. What ended up happening was the Kingpin set a hitman on him, and he was and of course Peter with the spider sense, he dodged that bullet, but guess who was right beside him?
Aunt May.
Yep. Aunt May got shot, and Peter had to find a way to cure her, but that led to its own.
Didn't that at the same time happen where after that, Peter tracked down the hitman, found out it was Kingpin, went to Kingpin that was in prison, beat him up, and said, "Every waking moment, just be glad that you're alive. And if she doesn't live through this, then I'm gonna finish the job."
Pretty much.
And I remember that story. That was a fun one.
Oh yeah, unfortunately it led to a very controversial Spider-Man comic, but that's neither here nor there. Now, however, but but of course, MCU Peter, he's going through the usual paparazzi, and there's no moment of peace. There is a few funny moments, especially at the school. Which side note, I was not aware. If you remember Jack, remember those three teachers that was talking to him, and one of them was like the gym coach.
Yeah.
Who was played by comedian Hannibal Buress. I did not realize he lost weight. So I saw it and I was like, is that Hannibal? Oh my god, he's losing weight. God dang. Good for him. But I also find it funny how like Hannibal's the one who is like conspiracy theorist. He's the one. I did find that just interesting detail how Mysterio paid himself as some sort of that's I guess martyr.
Hero.
Well, hero, but also a
martyr.
Because people think he's like this actual multiverse jumping hero. Which I guess that's one thing. One thing if you never saw the second movie, you wouldn't get it, but you kind of pick up on that context quite easily. So I was like, huh, okay. So I was like, okay, that's little details to kind of make it more ironic that the villain from the previous movie is seen more heroic by certain people than our actual hero. All right, that's some good drama there.
Yeah, imagine that. Like in mid-fight, you're against a superhero. You're just gonna have to go back home, do a quick edit on your Vegas Max from all the editings, like to make yourself look good. Oh no, the drone strikes. Oh yeah, he did it.
All of it done on his dying breath.
Yep. Or on an Apple wristwatch.
On an Apple wristwatch. Wait, so was that means he was using iMovie to edit his video?
I don't know. I wasn't sure if he was using some kind of other thing, but maybe some dude behind the scenes was like, "I'm gonna make this video just as a contingency."
Probably. And so with that, a lot of the beginning is Peter, like I said, dealing with that. You do get some, you do get some fun moments with, especially with like there's actually a lot of, I forget because I only seen the first movie, but there actually is like some funny moments within these movies that I'm like, oh yeah, when they're done well. Like like the scene where Peter and MJ I still can't get used. Zendaya. I was just gonna call her Zendaya. Okay.
I love the fact that everyone, like even the other Peters, like, oh, you have a Mary Jane too? No.
Michelle
and then
Jones.
I forgot the name.
Michelle Jones. My little brother, he was so convinced her character's name was Michelle Jackson. And as soon as she said her name, I looked at it and go, told you.
Michelle Jackson.
But I did find that scene where they go back home and they go back home. The Aunt May and Happy Hogan, they aren't aware of the situation, and that leads to like actually a very funny scene of them thinking that Peter and Zendaya are gonna they caught in the middle of the act. I was like, okay, that's actually funny.
Oh no, anime moment in real life.
It was kind of, and of course it was the guy who was the first one to be naked, the girl.
I like how she didn't try to explain it. MJ didn't try to explain it at all. She just literally rolled with it.
I think she was hoping Peter would explain it, but whatever. It was a very like quick moment because as soon as Aunt May saw it, instead of asking what you're doing on, she assumes that they were gonna do the nasty. So a lot of that, and so a lot of the very first act of the movie, very humorous. A lot of good uses of comedy, and with all the main central characters within this particular version of Spider-Man. And of course, one that Jack can confirm I got super giddy on when.
Oh my god! It was. I wasn't laughing at the scene. I mean, it was funny, but I was laughing at you laughing at the scene. Everyone was quiet; they didn't get it. But you and me both got it.
Look at those two nerds in the theaters. Yeah, with when Matthew Murdock, aka Daredevil, showed up, for a brief cameo, I was like, yeah. And it was only a cameo. It would have been cool if he got more involved, but whatever. Cameo's a cameo. At least he got to show that he was very different type of lawyer. And I do like the little detail where whoever threw that, I think was it a ball or something? Or a rock?
No, it was a brick.
Yeah, that brick. Oh yeah, that brick at the Parker's home. How Spidey was obviously he was ready to grab it. Then Daredevil just whoop backhand, not looking. And I was like, ah. And then
of course, then he's like, "How'd you do that?"
I'm a good lawyer.
A really good lawyer.
So yeah, fanboyish moment, fanboy moment, sue me, whatever. Any appreciation for Daredevil, I will get it. And also, welcome Gemini. Howdy.
Sidetracked a little bit, but I wanted to ask you
JAC.
because I saw this one TikTok that was making this theory. What do you think about the theory that the Daredevil show itself happened in between the blip?
In between, no, because in the first season they clearly state, they don't state, let's see, they don't say directly, but there's many allusions to the Avengers in the first season.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't remember that.
So the Daredevil show, because here's to make this as shortest explanation as possibly can. When the Marvel Netflix shows were just starting with Daredevil, it was they were canonically within the MCU. There were essentially they're going to be the more smaller superhero stories that take place within the streets of the city rather than the big bombastic stories seen in the movies. That was the idea, but partway through the main of these shows and I think with Marvel no longer. They were no longer going to continue their deal with Netflix to continue to produce these shows. Eventually, while there was no official statement saying these shows are not canon, these shows essentially, with each and every of those Marvel Netflix shows, they just alluded. They started to state less and less allusions to the main MCU. At best, sometimes you might get like a newspaper clipping, go something happened in Avengers 2 or something like that. But but references to the main universe was less and less, to the point that by the end they might as well just be their own thing. And so Daredevil would not be able to take place during the blip. It would have properly taken place throughout the 3 seasons and the 1 season of Defenders, which between after Avengers 1 and before Infinity War. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So that theory does not fly.
Does this mean that Happy lives in? Oh wait, no. Does this mean that Aunt May and Peter Parker live in like Hell's Kitchen?
No, they live in Queens.
Oh yeah, because they mentioned that with the black dude.
Yeah, and remember, Hell's Kitchen is a real place.
Yeah, I don't remember what section though.
Don't worry,
because I'm not a New Yorker.
A New Yorker over here. I'm not either. I just know the names and places very well. I have a rough idea where these places are, but until I visit New York, I'll really truly know. The only closest New Yorker in these areas we got is Ghetto, but he just visited there, like in the past. He never, I think, lived there for a brief moment. So he's as close as a New Yorker we're ever gonna get.
Fun fact: let's make fun of the New Yorkers again. There's a street that's spelled Houston.
Oh yes, but it's pronounced Houston.
Houston.
Actually,
idiots.
Actually,
no.
Hold on. For you declare the thing. I actually watched a video where someone explained why is it called that, and that's because the street was named after a person, and his surname was pronounced Houston.
Yeah, screw him.
Well, he's dead, so
exactly, screw him.
So it's
Houston now.
Hey,
Texas is gonna take over New York.
The Texas Republic will ride again. To bring on the tech. It'd be like that one. I don't know, what was it? A congressman who said, "Let's make the Texas independent again."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to be against it, but that's a lot of planning ahead. That's a.
I'm not gonna be against it.
But it's like,
hey, will we have dual citizenship?
Oh yeah, it depends on how the negotiations play out, but essentially, yeah. And for some people, triple citizenship. They're a Texan, an American, and a Mexican, or whatever, or Central or South American country they're from. So there you go. If Texas becomes independent, it will have triple citizenships. And yes, exactly. They can go anywhere in the North Atlantic continent, literally, except for Canada. They don't count.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, pal.
Yeah, the South Park Canadians.
Oh, they're lovely. Let's see. Back to Spiderman. Now, so right at the beginning. Actually, Jack, any thoughts about like the beginning of the movie? So let's say up until Doctor Strange comes into the story.
I love how James Jonah Jameson just like sets up his whole.
Oh, that's right. His little. I was like basement studio. I actually did find that pretty funny.
You were the only one that like did an audible laugh in the theater. Everyone else didn't laugh. I'm here thinking to myself, oh no, they made James Jonah Jameson into Alex Jones.
Oh, it was very obvious, which I'm not a big fan of, but you know but it makes for some good humor. I think it kind of disrespects J. Jonathan as a character, but he's not integral to Peter's story in this universe, so I will let it slide for now. For now, at least.
Also, it's amazing. His powers of journalism is like increased tenfold because he got some. He somehow knows some no-name kid in Queens and his high school would be like, yep, this guy, Peter Parker, high school kid, he's a menace.
And Mysterio was a great hero who sacrificed all under the threat of Spider-Man.
Here's his address. Dox him.
Pretty much. Peter got full on doxed. And I actually do find it funny how this movie progresses. He gets a bigger budget to the point he's got a full staff, professional studio with like a background that's not a green screen.
Oh, also, what triggered me? Like I was literally like it kicked my fight or flight. Mostly my fight. God. I was about to punch the screen.
Oh my god!
It was literally the beginning when Spider-Man's identity was told to the whole world, and he jumps down to save MJ because people mobbing her because apparently everyone knows, hey, that's MJ. You know that girl? We all know her apparently.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Like, did they actually say MJ at the beginning, or just be like, "Hey, are you Spider-Man girlfriend? Who are you? What's your relationship with Spider-Man? Who are you?" I thought it was that.
Yeah, they literally all asked this random girl on the block, which I mean, it's not random to us, but like literally to them, it would be the equivalent of asking a random girl, "Hey, are you in a relationship with Spider-Man?"
To be fair, they were literally seen swinging together. You know, it doesn't take a journalist or a detective to connect some dots there.
True, but then here's the part that kicked my fight or flight. Whenever he went down to save her from the mob of people that were just barraging her with questions, this one fat girl, I'm gonna fat shame her too. Okay. I can do it because I'm fat. I'm also fat, so I can do it. This one fat girl goes up to them and then yells at Spider-Man's face, and then he quickly tries to like leave the situation like with MJ, and it was barely like a tap or like moving them away, and you could hear it like I don't know, the audio engineer that made it on purpose. You can hear her go, "You see that? You see that? Spider-Man hit me."
I kind of
oh,
I forgot about.
I'm like, oh, if you want to see someone hit you, I'm gonna. Sometimes you gotta slap a bitch.
We'll play the whole Hogan clip then.
Give me Yappa Pie Indian punishment strap #1.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, I completely forgot about it, but if I ever see it again, I'll pay attention to that because I think I remember a fat girl, but but yeah, I think I think that was intentional for how that was shot, filmed, and recorded. So hey, congrats to the editor. He got the reaction that he intended from you
and the actor because she did it naturally.
Wait, it's like you ask her, man, you pretty, you pull it off. That was some good acting. She says, acting. Oh, but I guess we're in the same in the same boat. Generally, the opening act is very solid. A lot of good humor, and properly sets up the story that we're gonna be watching. So really, not much to complain in the beginning. In terms of story structure, characters, even editing, anything like that. Nothing to complain. Second act. So this is where the movie's really put up to task. So second act essentially starts when Doctor Strange comes into the story, and I do find it interesting how they chose this movie to explain why he's no longer the Sorcerer Supreme, which to me, I'm like, wow, that was a short-lived role. Like, because I'm like, but then you really got to think about, it's kind of weird because remember those movies take place in what, how long was it between Infinity War and Endgame? Was it 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2024. So, I think No Way Home probably says 2025. So, Doctor Strange was the Sorcerer Supreme for less than 10 years. Is that a
Well, even then, it's less than that because he blipped for 5 years.
That's right. I mean, I guess that's one way to lose your sorcerer's license. I guess to lose your title.
Yeah,
I did kind of find that annoying. I'm like, come on, really? You're gonna make him not be the Sorcerer Supreme for circumstances out of his control?
Didn't he explain that he didn't want to be as well, since he can act in a life of luxury?
If he did, I must have missed it. But it was like it's his character. That's his role. He should be that. But I don't. But
yeah.
But Wong's also a great character. So if he's the Sorcerer Supreme, I'm like, well, at least it's someone. At least I get it. And I did find and I do like the kind of chemistry that Strange and Peter have with each other, and as well, I do appreciate it because more from a comic book side that they able to bring in two characters primarily created by Steve Ditko, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, and able to implement them into the movie. So I do appreciate doing that because in the comics, Doctor Strange is very much a recurring guest character in a lot of those books. So it's nice to see that happen here. And I think with the one thing we had to really address is one of the I can easily see as part of anyone who's been very critical of the film. Probably the hardest thing to swallow is when Peter and Strange start to do the spell to make everyone forget their memories.
Oh my god, yes.
Now, I was actually going to be on board as like there better be a way for this to work without having the most obvious solution, and for what the events that were shown I think it logically made sense due to due to Peter's urgency and unclear thinking that he was going through.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, could have Peter just calmly told Strange what he wanted exactly out of the spell before Strange did the spell? Yes. He could have he could have done he should have done that. However, the movie makes it plainly clear that Peter is not thinking ahead. He is he's being frantic. He's not in the right state of mind, and that and of course definitely one of them were funnier but also more important parts of the movie, like because it makes a big deal of him trying to go to college, which I don't want to say what's gonna shoehorn in, but I was like, you got bigger things going on. Do we got to bring a college subplot in? But whatever, it worked for the film. And so I do love the fact that even Strange pointed out, like, wait, you decided to come to me first before calling the school. And Peter's,
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Just for that, it shows that Peter's not thinking correctly. So I was like, okay,
You can do that. The freaking his reaction. You can do that.
Oh, which and I also do appreciate because Doctor Strange, he is a college educated man. He's a doctor. He's a doctor.
Doctor.
So I forgot where that's even from, but
Ghostbusters. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. In any case, the so because of that, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see why Peter would make this obvious mistake because he's obviously trying to rush things and not thinking clearly. And obviously, since he's still a high school student, and he's busy doing all the super heroic stuff and all that, he hasn't had time to really think about all this college stuff thoroughly, and or even trying to say, hey, like a quick Google search. Can I do something if a college rejects me?
Now here's also okay, and let me add a little bit right here. Where okay, yes, I'm gonna give the blame 90 to 95% on Peter, but then also a little bit of blame to Doctor Strange because I mean he's worked with Peter enough to kind of realize that this guy is sporadic, talks a lot, doesn't really think things ahead. He could have just like sat him down and be like, all right, what do you want in this spell? What do you want on your burgers and fries here? You want no tomatoes, some tomatoes, all tomatoes? Like, what do you want?
Green fried tomatoes.
And then what's worse is like, this is some very bad magic if you can't just like stop halfway. Like, I'm not saying whenever he did like the third ring or the second ring. No. Like literally before he was about to write the first ring, he could have stopped it there.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that. And
Some bad magic there.
unfortunately because the magic in MCU is so poorly defined, essentially all that stuff Doctor Strange was making, they literally made it up for this movie. It's not shown in his movie or any others that showcase magic. There are some set rules and boundaries. So yeah, it is a bit. So yeah, in this case, I would have to agree with Jack in that for Doctor Strange not to just stop the spell early on, it was a bit of fake tension. Essentially, since magic's not it exists in the MCU, but it's not properly defined in the MCU with any rule set or anything. Aside from what's established in Doctor Strange, which is not much and doesn't really come into play for this movie. So I do give you that. So, but still, mostly Peter's fault because I think
mostly Peter's fault.
I think Doctor Strange. I think he was confident. He was confident with what Peter was wanting. So I was like, all right, he knows what he wants. So I'm gonna go do this. It's a favor for a guy who experienced death just like I did. You're gonna
Please,
say,
don't call me sir. All right, Steven. That sounds very weird, but yes, I will do it.
You could have just said Strange. You don't have to say Doctor Strange, just Strange.
Again, it kind of has to add to the whole.
Yeah, I guess I never really liked that joke to begin with, but whatever. Maybe because I saw the trailer,
me, sir.
So then, second, I guess, mostly focus on Peter and Peter facing. Look at this. The responsibility of his actions. Is facing the responsibility of his actions and trying to make the world forget that he's Spider-Man. And because of that, strange spells go haywire, and at the last minute, he was able to contain it. But a few other things happen, which after a whole, admittedly, cool, kind of a. Okay, we'll go. I'm jumping ahead of it, but in the moment which Doctor Strange finally he was able to essentially block the spell before it goes too haywire. He told Peter essentially, freaking get out of my sanctum, go fix your life yourself, essentially. And of course that goes with Peter, with him and his friends, Zendaya and Ned, who start to make plans on getting that, on trying to unlock that spell. So, and that leads to the first, I guess, big action set piece of the film, with the chase between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Now, this is probably the only uses of spider sense, and I'm like, that's kind of pushing it. And that's the moment where you see in the trailer where Doctor Strange pushes Peter's spirit from his physical body. And you would think, all right, done right there. Doctor Strange can get his the magic MacGuffin of the movie.
Oh, by the way, we gotta add some context because we kind of jumped way too far ahead. This is after the part where Spider-Man collected all the emeralds, which is Doc Ock.
That's right. I'm messing up. Okay, yeah, you're right. Thank you. So let's rewind a bit. My bad. Because I just had all thoughts about that moment. So the spell didn't work out as Peter was planned. However, some After Effects came out, and not After Effects. There were some. The spell did have some otherworldly effects, which led to the actual first action set piece in the movie, which is the very first fight with none other than Dr. Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus, aka Doc Ock, aka the Superior Spider-Man, if you're into that sort of thing. Now, and of course, I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting a little cool. Obviously, everyone knows what's gonna happen in the trailer. Did anyone celebrate in the theater or no? Or one like, woo?
No, not at that point.
Yeah,
literally everyone else wasn't like, nah.
Because
I was so giddy.
Yeah, me too.
I was so giddy.
Me too. I guess because everyone saw it in the trailer, so it was no surprise. And it led to, admittedly, a pretty cool action moment. And I did like the fact, although I do like it, how right as they're fighting, everyone leaves their car. And I'm like, how convenient, so that Doc Ock could toss all these cars without anyone getting injured. But at least it made sense for people to leave. They're not going to get ground in a crossfire. And also,
except for the one girl that the one, what was her name? Her title.
Oh, wasn't it the dean? The MIT for MIT or something like that.
Let's call her the dean. I don't think it was dean, but let's call her the dean.
Yeah,
but yeah, she was stuck inside the car because the dude literally locked her in there.
Yeah. So Peter had to make sure she stayed alive, which some good superheroics there. And also, welcome Ghetto Machine and Johnny Cage.
Welcome, guys. Welcome,
guys. You're lucky. Don't worry. We're not gonna.
The show.
No, John, we're not gonna restart the show for you.
I'm gonna restart the show.
God dang it! But we're still in like the beginning of the second act of talking about No Way Home. So unless you guys didn't talk about the beginning of the movie, you're not you're still allowed to talk about. Any case, and of course, had the first action moment with Peter. There is some weird things I kind of find interesting, like when when Doc Ock when Doc Ock trapped Peter initially and was talking to him, I did find it interesting how he was able to notice what kind of tech that Peter had. And I'm like, huh. As I know, Ock is a scientist, but that doesn't mean he doesn't know every little scientific thing, especially from a different world. But
nanomachines.
Yeah, like he instantly knew it was nanotechnology, and I'm like, I thought your field was well, he actually his field is robotics and radiology.
This man was trying to make the power of the sun in the palm
Palm
of his hand.
hand.
But it wasn't the palm of his hand. It was more like the size of like a small shed.
Well, to be fair, a sun's pretty big, so when you compare it to an actual sun, yeah, it's essentially in the palm of your hand. If you twist the logic enough.
But at the same time, he literally described what his intentions were with the palm of his hands thing when he showed Tony Stark's little generator power thing.
Oh yeah, the arc reactor.
Yeah.
So, but it was still a good scene. So you always if you're doing a Spider movie, there has to be a fight in the bridge because like someone's thrown off the bridge at some point. This is done in every movie, so it's nice classic Spider-Man heroics.
They might as well just add in sharks in the bottom.
That's on fire, or with a laser.
That's on fire. It shoots lasers.
It's Bruce from Beautiful Joe. Oh, the crossover we didn't expect. Spider-Man Nova Helm's actually Marvel vs. Capcom 4. I want to live in that universe. All right, so you get the ensuing fight, and of course that begins the confusion of Peter Octavius going, "You're not my Peter," and
so endearing.
Yeah, Peter then defeats. Well, actually, he didn't defeat him. Pretty much, Doctor Strange's like, "Get over here," just teleported them, and
he did defeat him in a way. He binded him.
Oh, that's right. And
he was teleported away whenever Green Goblin came out.
Yeah, and Peter took control of his arms.
Yeah.
Which God damn,
apparently he did it super quickly.
Because nanomachines.
Nanomachines.
Johnny Cage's fire is a very stupid power for a shark to have. That's why it's great. Fire in the water. Why? Fire in the water. Why? I don't understand.
You can start boiling things alive and then eat it like that.
Now, so the second act of the movie is essentially, as Jack said, collecting the Chaos Emeralds, or in this case, collecting all the villains. And so so we get a showcase of not all the villains, but most of them. I think the only don't see Spider-Man actually faces the Lizard, which oddly enough, oh man, I really wish they did more of the Lizard, because when done well, the Lizard's really terrifying. He's a terrifying Spider-Man villain. Because when you think about it, he's essentially a velociraptor that it has the mind of a scientist.
Yeah. Instead of clever girl, it's just clever boy.
Not clever enough to regrow his hand, but that's neither here or there. Now, so what Dr. Strange pretty much explained, we got to get these people back to where they came from. That's when Peter, Ned, and Zendaya start to collect. Which actually they only did one. So there's only like one character that they only did that for, to find other villains, and that was Electro. With his Tims, he's not with his Tims. I do appreciate though that they at least somewhat give him at least the look of his classic costume. I admit the original Electro outfit kind of hard to pull it off in reality, but for what they did, where the mask is literally just a mass electricity, I thought that was actually pretty clever. And then it led to the most confusing part with Sandman.
Oh my god, he was like walking on eggshells. It was like the the abusive parent that you didn't want to get angry with, because if you got them angry, he would just kick the shit out of you.
And I was trying to figure out, because one of the things that was kind of hard to figure out is that at one point were these villains transported? Like you're trying to think, okay, based on the dialogue, it seems like Doc Ock was transported essentially at the beginning of the final fight for Spider-Man 2 at the docks. Hence why because he's still acting antagonistic, even though that contradicts the ending of that movie.
This is where I thought it was gonna. This is how I thought the ending, or like how it was gonna be explained. Or literally like the mind is like taken to the MCU universe with Tom Holland, and they have their own body there. Because remember, Doc Ock said he was like literally grabbing Peter by the throat, that was when he was grabbing Tobey Maguire that was already on the floor by the throat, and Tobey Maguire like said some things and made him nice again, or stop the AI from controlling him.
Right. So there's stuff like that's gonna be it's gonna kind of hurt how the villains act in this movie a little bit.
I was thinking what was gonna happen is that Doc Ock initially was mad, and then like whenever Tom Holland's Spider-Man fixed him, like fixed the AI and stuff, they went back in time to that exact moment and spot, and then with all the memories, or not all the memories, but all like the same type of feelings from whenever they were in the MCU, went back to their original movies. That's why Doc Ock went from being aggressive to suddenly having control again over his AI. That's how I thought it was gonna go.
That's the most complicated retcon I've ever heard.
Yeah, probably.
To explain a character arc.
Well, I mean, other than that, I was gonna say like the others hesitated to kill, or Sandman. I mean, he's Sandman.
Yeah, Sandman annoyed me because I'm trying to like, okay, so is this Sandman kind of like Peter had a heartfelt moment at the end of Spider-Man 3, and all of a sudden, like initially it was for him, then he was against him, and I was like, freaking pick a side, Marco.
Basically, it was like supposed to be right when they were about to die. So Doc Ock, whenever he was doing the chokehold on Toby, Sandman when he was inside the thing again, I forgot what it was called. Green Goblin whenever he was about to skewer himself. I don't remember the other two.
Well, the thing with Sandman is that he didn't die in the end. He just kind of floated away, but it wasn't if my memory serves correct, in Spider-Man 3, it wasn't supposed to see shown like, oh, that his body's not able to control itself, and so he's losing his control over the sand. It wasn't that. He was just kind of went away after Peter forgave him for what happened. So if anything, Flip Marco, Sandman's he's literally the only Spider-Man villain from the Raimi movies that doesn't die in the end.
And what's funny is
he lives a cursed life, but he's not dead.
And like Sandman helped Tom Holland Spider-Man
initially
with Electro. Like literally talked to him like, "Hey, what's wrong? Why are we here?" But he became schizophrenic pretty much, or paranoid about everything.
Which I guess is fair, considering that when you look at him compared to other villains, he's as close as a normal person you get. He's just a guy who wants to make sure his daughter can be alive. That's really all his motivation is. Other than that, he's like a criminal who had no choice but to become a criminal. He's not a scientist who, because of back to formula, messed up his mind, or had big ambitions, or has an actual grudge against Spider-Man. So I just felt like I think they were put in a corner there, and it's kind of mishandled Sandman in just odd ways. But maybe some of the comments here on the YouTube end. Johnny Cage says, if they did the Josuke hair in the live action, they can do the Electro costume. In fairness, Josuke's hair is an actual real hairstyle. It's a pompadour. Freaking Elvis was doing it in the 50s. That's nothing special. Maybe the volume of hair is kind of crazy, but the pompadour, that's a realistic hairstyle. Maybe
I
not
love that freaky mask.
What was
for
that?
The Electro. I would love the freaking the weird star electric lightning mask.
Yeah, it's better than
for
him just
Electro.
being blue.
Yeah.
And Johnny Cage, is Raimi's Spider-Man the first MCU movie now?
No.
No.
It's literally just like alternate. You can literally chalk it up to alternate universe.
Yeah, pretty much. And besides, if it's the first MCU movie, it needs to be Blade. It needs to be Blade. That's all I'm gonna say.
Didn't they kind of like do a nod with that when it came to the what was that one trailer with what was it called, Morbius?
Oh,
Mobius.
No, it was Morbius.
Morbius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there was a. Was there an allusion to Blade in that movie?
I thought that they were like tied in together eventually somehow.
No. Mobius is his own thing. No, he's a weird type of vampire. He's not the type of. It's not like the ones that Blade hunts out.
Well, still, I thought like maybe there's a point in the comics that Blade saw him and it's like vampire.
I'm sure it's probably a story that exists, but they're not directly related to each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like if you look at Marvel Comics, they have a lot of different vampire characters. You got an actual like traditional vampire, then you got Mobius, then you got Blade. You remember he's also a vampire, but it's his own thing. They just sometimes intersect every once in a while. And let's see. So yeah, second act is mostly that, and and of course then you get but near the end of the second act, then you get the introduction of Dafoe or
yes, Evil Master Roshi. From your your laugh just reminded me.
It's hard to do Dafoe, all right. It's hard to do it's hard to do Dafoe without. It's just hard to do. He has a very very peculiar voice, but
delving into
Norman
energy.
But Norman Osborn comes to the scene. He actually arrived briefly in the end of the octopus fight, but Peter and Doc Ock were transported by Strange, and Norman ends up to be the last person to join the rest of the villains. Which I must say, I am also a bit nerved because there's 5 villains.
Mm-hmm.
They just needed one more. We could have the Sinister Six.
Could have.
I
thought the Vulture was gonna be in there.
No, Michael Keaton gonna come. Michael Keaton's gonna be in Mobius. He's not gonna be in another Spider-Man movie. What are you talking about?
But still, it would have like.
And then he's gonna be in the Flash movie too, as Batman.
Oh yeah, that's.
So he'll be for those, but come back for this one? Nah, he's probably just busy. But it is kind of hard because who would be the 6th villain unless you want to bring in the other Green Goblin for Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Maybe bringing in Scorpion.
There is no Scorpion. All other villain they really haven't used is Venom and Rhino.
I thought there was like a Scorpion type of villain.
The closest we get is that in like a after credit scene in Homecoming, there's a character that Vulture meets in prison, whose name is Mark Gergen, who is the Scorpion, but he's not in the full outfit and everything. It was just like a little like hint, nudge.
Gotcha.
Johnny Cage is Venom.
Oh, well, no. Okay. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna piss you off.
You want to wait till we get to after everything? You want to talk about that now?
Let's wait.
Okay. Yeah, because you're passionate. I could tell. He's a passionate man. That's how you can tell he's Mexican. He's passionate man.
I was gonna say it's
Ladies.
A technicality.
Yeah, oh, it's technical. But wait, he doesn't have the symbol? Nope. Doesn't count.
Jack
He doesn't.
having a stroke. Maybe.
Jack's having a stroke, thinking about Venom. Of all things.
This is me having a stroke.
God dang it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That sounded nasty. Don't play it again.
I will do it eventually.
All right. So, Green Goblin comes in, and of course, as Ghetto says, the real star of the movie, and quite frankly, yeah, he's like, between all three movies, he's the actual villain who is the most threatening, imposing, and one that Peter has to really struggle with.
Yeah,
which I love, and we'll get to when we get there. So after all the villains are essentially collected, and Dr. Strange is about to send him home, that's when we have Spider-Man with a moral crisis. Now, initially, I think maybe you and I were in this probably sitting away, we're thinking like you have no connection, F him, send him back. This will cause more problems. And then you have the whole Peter trying to help them. And initially I was annoyed, but then I was like, I can't be annoyed because that is in line with any interpretation of Spider-Man. So it's more of those things where like, damn it, it's an easy out because he could just do that with little to no consequences. But at the end of the day, Peter wants to do what is right and wants to help people because that's just who he is. So yeah. I can't be mad at the movie for having Peter be Peter. So and honestly, honestly, it was actually a rather wholesome because then we actually, well, not for all the villains, but at least it gets to humanize the villains somewhat. More so than what's already established in their previous films. We actually get to see them, the type of people they can be, if not for the circumstances that happen to them. At least a little bit of it. Now, and here now we get to the second set piece of the movie, which is the magic chase with Doctor Strange. And I was talking about earlier until Jack correctly told me we're too far ahead. So now I actually get to talk about it. And I'll repeat it again since Ghetto and Johnny weren't here. That moment in which Doctor Strange separated Peter's physical body to his spiritual, I think it was playing a bit much with how spider sense work and why, because if anything, the spirits kind of disconnected from the body, Doctor Strange would have got the magic MacGuffin back, no problem. But the way spider sense was, I guess, not interpreted, but utilized in that scene, I'm like, I don't think that's how spider sense works.
Nope, definitely not. But it was funny though.
it was funny, but it really
was funny, huh?
And I guess you can't argue that spider sense, because it's a more instinctual act that doesn't require cognitive thought. It makes sense why Peter's body would do that, even if his soul is discombobulated.
Yeah, nicely said.
Thank you. But I was like, and I'm trying to think, would spider sense work in this context?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because going by the obviously, if you go by the movies, it's the same issue with how magic is done in MCU, because spider sense was non-existent in the first one and slightly hinted in the second one. The creators are pretty much just made it so where it works however they want it to work. It says what's established in the actual lore, in which it.
Or, wait, we can say it's not really spider sense; it's just the Peter tingle.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Johnny Cage says a wizard did it. Hack, let it go. No, I will not. But it is one of the few moments in the movie where I'm like, I'm like, all right, just let it go. Actually, you're right. I have to like let it go. I'm guess it makes sense because it is a warning system. It's just that it's not a physical one. It's essentially it's like saying alarms going off. Peter said about danger, but it doesn't physically make him react. Because there's many moments where Spider's sense will go out, but Peter will be physically unable to move appropriately and react to that response at a lot of times. So it's not like he gets a sudden adrenaline to move. No, it's like an alarm system, his own alarm system. But whatever. Though the chase, though, I'll still say, it is still imaginative. I do like how they incorporate a lot of the mirror universe stuff from the Doctor Strange movie into the chase, and all of that. Although, no, I guess when it's all said and done, the chase scene, I wish it was probably made a bit shorter. I think it felt a bit too. I think it went on a bit longer than I would liked it to be, because then it just kind of felt because it really just felt like, well, we got Doctor Strange, we got to use him for something aside from being a supporting character. Wish they could have did the same for Daredevil, but whatever. So there's like,
I would have loved that.
Oh, I would have loved to see, I mean, only like maybe not like be part of the final conflict or anything like that, but let's say
imagine
in
Daredevil
meeting,
finding Sandman.
it's happened. I mean, Electro is also an occurring villain for the Daredevil comics in the early stories.
Yeah, but he can punch a physical body like that. Sandman is just sand.
True, but that's what makes it interesting. How would a blind hero fight against sand?
How would I? you know, guys. The reason why Daredevil can beat Sandman is because you can't use pocket sand on a blind guy.
Exactly. That's the secret.
That's the secret. He's already blind.
so I just felt that chase sequence was a bit too long. Jack, what do you think about the chase sequence?
Okay. I don't know how, but the one thing I have a problem is I don't care how smart someone is. You can't just go into a fight with a wizard in this mirror world. Let's go with this mirror world. And then look around and instantly recognize what type of geometry it is.
Oh yeah, that was like, okay, that's some bullshit stuff.
What was it? Like he said something about like the Archimedes spiral. He said like it was the Archimedes spiral. Like instantly knew, and then starts doing calculations in his head. Starts webbing everything. And traps him.
In fairness, it is established Peter is very highly intelligent.
I know, but at the same time, I can't take seriously that it's a high school Peter.
To be fair, is it the same high school Peter made his own web shooters?
Still, I don't know how high of an IQ do you have to have to instantly recognize an Archimedes spiral out of your like you being in the middle of it. I can understand if you're like looking at it from the outside in, but you being literally in this mirror world, looking around, you're like, oh yeah, this is a spiral. Oh, let me dodge this beam of magic this guy's shooting at me.
Yeah, and also especially since Doctor Strange literally has full control over the mirror universe.
No, Johnny Cage, you hit me. You hit me where it hurts.
Jay just did it, Jack. Now you let it go. It seems like when it involves Doctor Strange, that's where we have our most gripes with. Because we know Doctor Strange is in a higher tier threshold compared to Spider-Man. But the story has to revolve that Spider-Man has the advantage over Strange. And they do it in ways that, let's just say, are not illogical, but they stretch. It's a stretch. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Gato. He says, "You know what I see. You know
what I see where he's coming from."
Yeah.
And Ghetto says it should have been an adaptation of Spider-Man Fever. Actually, haven't heard of that story. Let me know more. Send me a Ghetto through the server. Send me a link to the book because I'm not familiar with that Spider-Man story. I would like to know more about it. All right, so Peter gets the magic MacGuffin, and essentially uses it as his way to forcibly help the bad guys. Pretty much like, let me help you. If not, I will kill you. That's essentially what he's doing. What do you think about it?
Blackmail.
Yeah, yeah, and I want to take a brief moment from overlaying the plot. I want to talk about the supporting characters a bit. Most specifically, I want to talk about Ned and Zendaya.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: I still, maybe just me, but do you get any chemistry between Zendaya and MCU Peter?
Not really. It's more like it's pushed on.
It honestly
Because like
does.
even the second movie, uh it wasn't really explained well why she liked him.
Yeah, and see, and in their intimate modes, I'm trying to see like what's the attraction between the two of them. Like, to use an example, with the Sam Raimi movies, obviously they obviously it was shown that Peter is very not only is he physically attracted to MJ, but they actually do have a connection of being neighbors and they know each other since kids. So it's not like they're totally no have no relation, but they have some background, and Peter is smitten with her. At least he shows that with when Zendaya was Zendaya. It wasn't shown that he was even thinking about her in the first movie. Obviously, didn't see the second one, so Jack, based on
Oh,
what can you remember, was there any point where the scene like where the attraction was obvious? Was it something like if he saw her in the new light, that's what made it? But what is it?
okay, so from the second movie, it was established in the beginning of the second movie that Peter started liking MJ, but doesn't really know how to tell her, and that throughout the whole movie, literally was him trying to for this try to be have a live a normal life to kind of tell MJ that he liked her through this extravagant way while they were gonna do their field trip in France. Because initially it was gonna be France. He was
I
gonna
see.
like he had everything planned to like I think a little small ring or necklace, I don't remember. But fast forwarding a whole bunch into the movie, literally wherever he wanted to now tell her that he likes her, like right there and then. And this is where I had problems because I can literally see that there was no uh like nothing told to the audience any information. It was literally Zendaya was like MJ was like, "Oh, yeah." Because Peter Parker said, I have a confession to tell you." MJ says, "Okay, what is it?" He starts kind of being frantic about it, and then MJ says, "Yeah, I know you're Spider-Man." And then he's like, "Wait, what?" Like while about to like more or less pseudo propose to her by saying that he likes her. And MJ's like, "Wait, you like me? I didn't know this." And then she's like, "Well, I like you too," but never said anywhere in the movie that they like each other.
Do they give each other looks? Like that's the one thing. Like if you're gonna play up the teen romance thing, you think they will play it up a bit more. Like she's getting him looks, or she acts differently when he's around, when he's not around. Just little things like that.
Kinda, eh.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. Like it's a weird way to describe it. It's like some weird cues you can pick up when it's like a tomboy esque character.
I guess maybe it, but even then, even if it's a tomboyish character,
It's a stretch though.
yeah, like even yeah, that's a bit of a stretch explanation because it comes a because it comes a the third movie, and
Basically,
I'm
this
just
relationship just
it feels like it just
relies on the fact that everyone should know that in every Spider-Man movie, comic, or media, he likes MJ. That's all it goes on.
which is funny because they don't need to. They did it with the main Spider-Man. They did it really. One of the few things that series did well was the relationship with Gwen.
Yeah.
So it didn't have to be MJ. They could have like literally Spider-Man has so. If you think his list of villains was long, shoot, his love interest keeps going and going and going. So let's see here. Let's see. There's Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, Brittany Brand, Liz Allen. Let's see. Carol Danvers of that weird bone girl from the 90s. Not that type of bone, the physical one.
He's about to.
Oh shebang. But whatever. Let me read some of the chat here. Let's see. Johnny says they gotta give him Felicia. Well, too late. She was in the first one. Now she's gone now. Well, not dead, but as in no longer part of the story. And Gal says she might have good throat. God dang it. Yeah, the Mongolian throat singing. Obviously, Peter is attracted to that. Johnny Cage, episode 105, Hack hates Spider Dick. Got a Pete just got jungle fever and he set up for the only other black chick he knew. Zendaya's her black is debatable, my opinion.
I honestly forgot.
Looks more
I thought she was like.
Looks more Puerto Rican to me.
See, that's what I thought.
She's like she you know what it is? She's it's a Mariah Carey case. That's what it is. So mixed, you don't know where to place her.
Wait, what is Mariah Carey then?
She's half black and half white, but because of that, she looks like she could be any Latina.
Oh, you just blew my mind. You blew my mind.
Let's see. Let's see. If anything, and referring to the Amazing movies, if anything, they rushed too fast to kill Gwen. Oh yeah. They didn't let that relationship settle at all. Johnny Cage, or they could just go for the best Spider Girl, Black Cat. Nah. That would require Spider-Man to be an actional, red-hotted adult.
Yeah.
The girl says, "No, the real best girl chat." What are? She's like, "No, you guys are not. Your guys are not best girls. No, no, none of that VTuber.
Best girl, Flash.
None of that. Ryanzo, nah. Hey, Ryanzo. I wonder why he's saying not to. Like say, I think say not again. Hey, man. All right. We were talking about supporting characters. I don't buy the relationship between Zendaya and Peter. Doesn't work. Ned, I totally get the bros, but my God, is he annoying? Like sometimes I'm like I wish in the movie like please cut away. You're not funny. Just stop. Move along, please. I honestly
he tells more secrets than Spider-Man ever does.
Oh God. Yeah, I honestly don't. I just don't like him. And when I say don't like him, I don't like his character and how his character is portrayed. Nothing about the actor. I just don't like his character. That's all.
Nothing personal, kid.
Nothing personal. Which is fun, and it's a shame too because Ned Leeds is legitimately one of Spider-Man's true friends from the comics who had a tragic end to him, and he's adapted into this doofus in the movies. Oh man! By the way, to jump a little bit ahead, remember in that laboratory scene where they were fixing up all the concocting all essentially the cures for the villains.
Yeah.
And remember how Ned told Peter, I'm never going to be a villain and kill you?
Yeah.
So that's actually a 2-in-1 reference. So obviously it's referring to the past villains from the past movies, but also in the comics, Ned Leeds actually did become the Hobgoblin. And
I remember my brother saying something about that.
Yeah, and it was actually like a big mystery for a while of who the Hobgoblin is, and it turns out to be one of Peter's best friends. So it was a big story arc in the comics. Ghetto says that has been annoying since Homecoming. He's an accurate portrayal of Miles' friend.
This is what happens when you have best friends as a superhero. They eventually backstab you.
In this case, literally.
So if I ever become a superhero, I'm sorry, Hack, but we're gonna have to end the show.
Sure, and I definitely won't start my plans for world domination as soon as the show ends. I'll be your Dr. Doofenshmirtz to your Perry the Platypus.
All right, well then that means if I become a superhero, I'm gonna have to sacrifice you. Oh wait, but in terms of superhero world, that means that me killing you would probably make you still a villain because you could just raise from the dead from some weird BS way.
Exactly, when Superboy punched reality.
There is no way to it. It is inevitable.
Inevitable, like Jean Grey. But in any case, all right. That's what I gotta say about the friends. Back to the story. All right. So overall, my thoughts on the second act of the movie. It was again, it's essentially still more setting up for that big finale, and obviously setting up for the most obvious thing, which we'll come into very shortly. The Doctor Strange chase scene, while nice, I think was extended too long and really stretched on the feats and abilities of the characters within the chase. So that's what my real main faults. But overall, nothing that makes you break my enjoyment of the movie. Now we come into the third, and then we come to. I'll consider this beginning of the third act, where Peter, after he successfully convinces the villains to pretty much have him help them with their problems, a few of them kind of begrudgingly. They all go into, was it Happy's condo? It was his condominium.
Yeah.
And there they started doing all the prepping and research. And I actually, for the brief moments, it actually was cool just to see the villains just be people.
But I would have liked to knock out Electro though.
Yeah, Electro was the one. It was the one like, what? It was the one who was like, you know what? Can we just send you away? Because
like all I wanted was like literally he was talking so stabby. Like you have, it's like giving a serial killer a knife. He's just like talking about, ooh, this knife is sharp. I love it. The way it glints off of the light. It would be a great tool to use. Like, if you heard that, you would want to knock out the person. It'd just be like, we'll fix you. But you're going to be asleep the whole time.
And Johnny Cage, controversial opinion, and that's why Jason Todd's story in Arkham Knight is better than the comics.
I like that.
I would have understand the adaptation, the animated adaptation of the Red Hood, but Arkham Knight, but that bullshit stuff, no. I
kind of like it.
No. I'm gonna say that's a bad take. That his inclusion
isn't a bad take.
Thank you. I'm full of them. That his inclusion just made the Arkham series even more confusing than it already was. So I mean, if it is the animated movie, completely understandable. The game, no, just no. No. I disagree heavily. All right, back to Spider-Man. So, now, I actually, and also did like what I want to point out that is kind of the banter between the villains, and I actually did kind of dig it. How obviously the characters from their same universes, even if they don't directly know each other, they have heard of each other. Like I love the fact that Sandman heard of Octavius, and even and heard of what he did. Heard of what he did. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like no, like obviously no one's gonna not know what happened in Spider-Man 2. that story will be everywhere. Thanks to the Daily Bugle. And I do love, and I always forget that Electro, at least for the Amazing movies, I forgot he actually was a scientist. So at that,
I don't remember much about the Amazing movies. I actually never saw them. I saw the first one, but not the second one.
I see them. I at this point, oh gosh, it's almost a decade since I've seen them. So my memory is a bit hazy on them. But
but we'd still remember the the original Spider-Man trilogy.
well, come on, you know why? Because
Yeah.
they're good movies.
Yeah, you will never see Bully Maguire and any other. I love Bully Maguire.
Oh,
You got a little dirt in your eye there.
oh, dirt in your eye. Now take on this. Oh man. So I did like kind of the banter between them, how they understood each other. I did actually find it funny that once Lizard finally spoke, we were like, "Oh crap, you could talk." I thought that was a little funny.
Yeah.
Although, like, again, I think he was kind of wasted. He's definitely one of the more basic villains because he's just a giant lizard, literally. So I thought there's not much you can do with him, but Lizard can be so threatening when you really make him to be, even if he doesn't have the most extravagant of powers. But that's just me. So we get to the process of Peter trying to help cure these guys, with the first one being Octavius, and that's when we finally get, the real Octavius. And I think that was a very quaint scene of how he no longer hears the AI controlling him. He just feels normal again, and I was like, it's good to see it. It's good to see. It was good to see that because it's still one of my favorite interpretations of Doctor Octopus, and I would love to see him just see the man and not the person who became to be because of the incident.
And I love the fact that they kept the same actors for all of them. Like, I loved that. I loved his the way he acted out throughout the whole movie. Such a great actor.
And he should be. He's actually a Shakespearean actor.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, of course, behind all the scenes, you have essentially Norman Osborn. Once his Gobby side takes control. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think what's the reference to use, but like he's being that guy put into the people's ears, going like, if this happens, you'll lose all your power. Do you want me to take that away from you and all that? It's like that little. He's like that little devil in your ear. I love that he's playing that role while they're all together, and because eventually, I mean, it was kind of obvious, even with the best intentions, all hell breaks loose in the condominium. All the villains escape, and we have possibly, like, legitimately a fight scene that has not shocked me in a mainstream horror movie in quite a while. Because freaking Gobby goes toe to toe with Spider-Man, and it is like, it's like, all right, Peter Parker, you want to actually fight a real villain for once?
I kind of forgot that he's pretty strong.
Impressive.
Like, yeah, I literally forgot that he had like super strength in a way.
We'll see you again, Spider-Man.
Freaking power bombs him.
How
many floors?
Oh, just the end. It was the impact and the destruction. I'm like, yes, that's what I want. This, like, the villain to be physically imposing and also mentally imposing. Like, oh my god, like just that pure villainy I've missed.
And like the funny thing is that, like, it's not flashy. That's the cool thing about it. It's not flashy in the sense of like how Electro has like all the CGI. Same thing with Sandman
and Lizard.
And the Lizard. He's just kind of in the background.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole fight. Like, but literally, this whole fight with Goblin and Spider-Man seems so natural, and like you can literally see Tom Holland Spider-Man just not able to handle this because he's not used to these type of fights.
It's
amazing.
And then in one way, and also in a bit of ways, it was kind of nice. It was like through Gobby, you're like, freaking take this kid. You had it so good. So you had Tony Stark behind you. You got to get to those big movies.
Yeah.
It's still so good to beat reality into him, essentially. And of course, all beaten and battered, and then we come to one of the to the the saddest part of the movie, which I was not spoiled, which I was spoiled on, but I was interested to see how will they pull it off, and quite honestly, quite honestly, it still shook me, and it definitely did its job in affecting me when they like killed off Aunt May. I was like, oh, okay, the stakes have risen. Aunt May is dead.
Yeah.
And now I wish they kind of bit a bit more graphical, because and I say graphical, I mean like instead of just Peter's hand have blood in it, show like no, she got a big deep wound in there.
No, more like literally show her getting skewered.
Yeah.
Instead of knocked over, like literally gets skewered by it.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to see it more visually visceral for a PG-13, but it's a Marvel movie. They can't be that well, that I say extreme, but the Sam Raimi's movies did it all the time. So how extreme really is it?
Yeah.
So let's see. Ghetto says we'll never see an MCU version of these guys. If we get MCU Goblin, it will probably be like the alternate version, who's just the Hulk but on fire. Yeah, probably. And let's see. Ghetto says I didn't see the movie, but I cheered at the news. May should have died 30 years ago. Yeah, I mean, yeah, not just but say as a comic fan, yeah, there's no reason for her being around. In fact, even in the modern comics, she's like there, but she rarely plays an important role in the modern comics. So she's way past her due date. Especially since when her original design makes her look so old to begin with, and as over the years they just acknowledge, oh yeah, she's growing older, but yet we're drawing her slightly younger as the years go by.
I think we have another commie bot inside the chat.
Uh-oh. I see. Let me see. Let me deal with this. Let me be the commie buster here. I'm gonna Joe McCarthy his ass.
I swear, I've been commie busting this whole time. Whenever you've been gone, like every time whenever I do a stream, there's just one always there.
Johnny K says, "You bunch of heretics! Better leave Aunt May alone." Hey, look, I love Aunt May as the next person, but freaking, how old is the woman? If anything, it should have been done like how in Spiderman Life Story, the comic, where she freaking died in the 90s. At least it made sense that this presumably like 6-year woman in the 60s would have died in the 90s in the 90s. I'm just saying. No reason, especially when she fulfilled her story, which going back to the movie. I'm back to the movie. I don't know if you noticed this, Jack, but you kind of notice that with her death, she essentially becomes this Peter's Uncle Ben.
Yeah, it was obvious after she said.
Especially when she said when she said the line.
When she said the golden line for Spider-Man.
Yes, which honestly, I'm like, you know what? Aunt May's just as important character as Uncle Ben, and while I would love for them to stick to what's established as the character, I'm fine with this, I guess, compromise, because Aunt May.
I forgot how it was in Homecoming, but did they ever explain what happened to the Uncle Ben, or they just like was already dead?
There's most we got is just an allusion to like a suitcase that has his initials, but Uncle Ben, neither him or anything is ever mentioned in all these movies.
Gotcha.
So as far as we know, it's just been Aunt May and Peter. Probably is no Uncle Ben.
God damn, he went to get the milk and then never came back. I knew it.
Even though that's not really his kid, that's his brother's kid.
Hey, it doesn't matter. He heard, hey, you're gonna have your kid brothers here. I mean, you're gonna have him here, and he's gonna be living with us. Like,
so that's stupid. It's on the episode. Oh, hold on, I got a little flash up. Hold on, let me check something.
I noticed the thing was buffering.
Yeah, we're still live. Okay, good. We didn't get disconnected.
It was buffering.
All right, just want to check. Yeah, like I said, yeah, that still doesn't count. Yeah, he's mentioned in the series literally titled "What If," where anything could happen. That's how we can get Uncle Ben in the MCU when literally you break all rules of convention. That's when you can have him back. But
I like how in that zombies episode it was like, wasn't it supposed to be in the comics that it was Spider-Man's fault for, well, not Spider-Man's fault, but he was the one that was infecting everyone.
I don't know. I don't know. For Marvel zombies, I don't know if Spider-Man was the main carrier. I don't think he is. I want to say it was actually the Fantastic Four.
It could have been them.
But
Yeah.
but Ghetto will probably know the answer better than me.
I just know that Spider-Man was the first one to actually be normal, or more or less be sane after a while of not eating people.
So let's see. So going back to the film. Johnny says, oh wait, Ghetto says no, it was Sentry's fault. Freaking Sentry. Johnny K, closest we got from Uncle Ben mentioned was in Civil War. But then again, he was so vague about it that unless you're a fan, he can literally talk about anything. So there's let's allude like you don't have to actually do the entire story, but why dance around the subject? Just say Uncle Ben. You don't have people will understand what's going on. This is what happens when you just assume the character's backstory is going to be the same when really it's not. And
Yeah.
especially now with this would be more credence since that's the first time Peter hears that famous phrase, which I know it's not attributed to Uncle Ben in the comics, or at least originally, but people associated with it mostly because of the Raimi movies. And 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 so it's just one of those things you don't mess with, and you can't take for granted when you cannot take for granted. Now, but going back, so the Ame's death scene honestly was done well, and actually I'll give props to Tom. When after that in his acting, that was actually legitimately some good acting of him, showing just how far he's fallen and how everything is pretty much his fault.
Yep.
And I thought he pulled that off really well, showing that very guilt-ridden side of Spider-Man, which, when done well, it brings in the gravity and the drama into the stories, and really makes you want to see Peter succeed. And so after that, then we come into, of course, the part of the movie everyone in the theater got hyped about. I got hyped. I can't. I'm just as guilty of this. Everyone already knows it. The scene where we finally see Andrew, but most importantly, we see Tobey Maguire, the past iterations of Spider-Man on film, and and while and I think it was actually pretty. I think it was actually funny setting it up with when Ned was trying to do the teleportation thing since he stole Doctor Strange's sling ring. I think that's what it's called. Mm-hmm. And him try to get Peter, and then of course I think I spotted immediately before even Andrews turned around. I'm like, he's pretty tall and lank. Oh, I know who that is.
For real, I was like, wait, why is he in an alleyway? I thought he was above some building.
And then you see the eyes of the mask. And I'm like, I know exactly. And he comes in. Like, I do enjoy Andrew. It's just unfortunate the movies he's in are not that great. But he is a pretty good Peter. He is a pretty good Peter Parker. And of course, he didn't come into the scene. It was honestly nice, and the comedy around it. And when they tried again, and then Toby comes in, I admit I was like, wait, why is he not in his costume? But I was like, whatever, it's Toby. He comes in, and I love the fact that both of the Spider-Men, both of them had to do a web up with each other.
Hey, at least we know that. I mean, it was pretty obvious because he's more seasoned. That Tobey Maguire Spider-Man would beat Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Oh man, and it was very much more fanboyish moment for a lot of people. Seeing them together, It
I was
was
hoping to hear him say "pizza time" whenever he just burst through the portal.
Nah, I mean that's that would be too meaty, and that's saying something considering that
Yeah,
the writers did sprinkle a few specifically Toby Raimi memes into the movie.
I
Like,
really kind of wanted to see all of them reacting to each other a little bit more shocked. Like not Andrew and Toby. They did their part perfectly. I'm talking about Tom Holland Spider-Man
yeah, but
with the others.
I think we got instead was actually much more appropriate because I actually do appreciate the fact that because after the two Spider-Men are introduced, we then cut to where Tom Holland's Peter is, and honestly, I think it was a not only was it I think it was a very rich character moment because obviously you see Peter bruised, battered, bloody, and just he's just ready just to kill any villain that comes his way. And he even says it out loud. And then to hear like kind of the words of wisdom and frustration from the other from the other Spider-Men, especially from Toby, who of course they had to give him the final say. You know that. You know they had to.
Yeah,
And
he was also the more emotional of I think of them all, right?
no, Andrew's the more
During that
emotional, but he's the one that he's been there, he's done
no,
that.
from that speech, I could have sworn from that specific speech.
That's what you mean. Yeah, because he was showing like the tears. He didn't full on cry, which by the way, I hate it when anyone says Toby cries too much. First off, no, he doesn't, and two, the scenes where he does cry, they are deserved because
Yeah,
tragic things that happen. So shut up about that and actually watch those movies. So it was a beautiful moment, and then of course then you know what kind of feels like to me. You know what it felt like.
what what?
It kind of feels like it kind of felt like a really good Ninja Turtle story, especially if one turtle has like fallen away or they suffered a big loss, but by the end you know the turtles are gonna be come back together and they're going to win this, and so you get that like that brotherly bond. I felt that here with No Way Home that even though they're literally beating each other the first time and they're just as kind of confused and lost what's the situation, it was like kind of like a brotherly bond moment, and it was nice to show that hey, that of the of it was a nice way of not really passing, well, in a way passing the torch off to Tom, but I guess I put this that there's still more to this Tom version of Spider-Man than what was given. Now it's sad that it had to took the literally breaking reality and bringing the other Spider-Man back to show it.
Yeah,
But at least it shows like, look, this kid's he's still growing. He's still got things to learn. All right.
like the thing is that that one moment where it kind of annoyed me because you know that there's the other Spider-Man and they probably had similar lives. Just like since Tom Holland Spider-Man realized that there was a multiverse theory, like multiverse, and there was actually the theory was proven correct. He would have at least assumed that some of their lives were similar. But then whenever the other Spider-Man were like, "We know how you feel," and he's like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know if you should say that." And then both of them literally said, "Yeah, our Uncle Ben died." He had this look of course, it was a look of, oh, they do get me. But I kind of like to think about it as a look of, oh, I was a dick.
I think that was. I mean, he's emotional at the moment, and this pain he's feeling, obviously, such with someone when having someone die in your arms, it's not a feeling that most people share. So
I
I
died in your arms tonight.
so I get what you're saying, but I think it was it was intentional. You're supposed to feel that way, and then when the
Yeah.
other Spider-Man being like, pretty much, cálmate, Peter, cálmate, Pedro.
Cálmate. ¿Te callas o te callo?
So after that, then we get then after that, now all the heroes are together. We get the scene where they're all preparing to essentially to cure the villains, and and you see some banter between the main three Spider-Men. Uh, I I do let's see, I would say it was kind of I do say it did kind of make me realize that, oh yeah, even Toby's version, the rainy version of Spider-Man, oh yeah, he's also a scientist. It just wasn't too relevant to his stories, not at least not a lot of it.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things where like they're so smart, they're able to adapt to this new technology and all of that. I was like, you know what? We're like 30 minutes in the movie. Sure, why not? I'm sure they've gotten smarter as the years went by. So,
and man, the freaking anti-socialism between all of them.
oh
Like
yeah,
I mean, not there's nothing political. Like literally, they're just so anti-social around people that whenever they were gonna do like that little break, everyone just silently goes to their stations, doesn't talk to each other at all.
Well, I mean, they're still nerds at the end of the day. Just one of those nerds actually has a social life, and one of them knows how to skateboard, and the other, let's be fair, probably has the most frustrating life between all of them.
Yeah.
So I get it, and so you got the prep scene. You get some more comedy, like the Ned scene, probably his only funniest scene in the movie, honestly. And
oh, don't forget about the web fluid.
That's right.
The freaking web fluid.
And then
that was the. It got all the nerds together because they all had something in common to talk about. Engineering and biology.
Well, yeah, because of Spider-Man, he's not a major in just one field of science. He just knows all science. That's how it always is. Oh yes, I know about nanotechnology, biology, radiology, robotics, and all of that.
It sounded so sensual, like something so intimate and personal that shouldn't be talked about. Especially how Toby was talking about it. He's like, I don't feel comfortable talking about this.
Obviously, it's because there's no actual real reason. And either way, this things are like it's not important. This is there for a joke, and that's all.
And why did they have to mention? Do the fluids come out from anywhere else too? Literally, I forgot who it was. I think Ned. I think Ned was the one that asked that, or no, it could have been Andrew. Could have been Andrew Garfield that literally asked, do the web fluids come out from anywhere else?
Like, mean, you think hard enough. how do you think Spider and Mary Jane got so well along with each other during their marriage?
Oh god.
see that, Johnny? Black Cat would be up to that. Such a prude she is. Oh, so we get the prep scene, and then we go into the big finale. Now, at this point, I'll stop here and going bit by bit of everything that happens, because obviously the finale is essentially one big CGI thing, one big CGI fight, but at least it's done well with the choreography and all the events going on, and you can actually follow along. That's because you're trying to balance it out. 5 different villains and 5 different characters, my main protagonists, including Ned and Zendaya here. So it was gonna be difficult to follow along. Luckily, it was shot well so that you weren't confused by the action that was going on, especially when Sandman did his Sand NATO thing.
Yep.
And so I will say this, by end of everything and watching it in a theater, I legitimately was like, you know what? Yeah, I mean, I have no intention to want to watch it originally, and if it wasn't for Jack, I wouldn't have. But by the end of the movie, walking around the theater, I was like, color me surprised. I actually enjoyed it. Now the gripes I still have with the Holland version of Spider-Man. I started to realize that maybe it wasn't really with him. it's more so the things around him that I have a problem with. Because his interpretation of Spider-Man, I think is altogether fine. I think I would have liked prefer maybe the actor's looks a little different because I don't know what it is. He just looks like it's funny. You know, it's funny when I say it like this because Andrew, he's a British actor, but when I look at him, I was like, I could think that he just looks American to me. But with Tom, I'm like, no, you look British. You just look British to me.
You look British.
Yeah, you look British.
You would look like you would want to ask me for a bowl of water.
Bowl of water? I'll tell you about water down the kettle pot, no going down on Grove Street, I'll tell you. That's a terrible accent.
The British Boomhauer.
British Boomhauer. So a Scottish person.
I mean, you sounded like it. You sounded pretty close to like a British Boomhauer.
Go to Yorkshire, or the tavern, this over.
Yes. Something about the tavern.
Yeah, don't say that's because Tom Holland has no lips. He got no lips. I feel like that's
Johnny Cage says, "A gringo is a gringo. I don't have time to separate y'all in smaller groups."
Says the Brazilian. Any case, I don't have the time to separate all of y'all either. But any case, so yeah, I was pleasantly entertained by the movie. The parts that did annoy me didn't break the movie for me in terms of plot, and I'm sure a lot of the I guess you could say movie critic YouTubers are probably gonna tear this film apart. I'm sure if I really dive in, there's something to make this movie like it's not like just wait. I can see it already in a few months. Spider-Man No Way Home is not as good as you think. I can see I can see it because there are moments in the movie where like it stretches. It really does stretches. Yeah. But I didn't find them to be as big problems. I certainly didn't notice. At least I didn't notice on just my one time only viewing any major plot related issues. So it's not like the story was written wasn't well written or didn't have any drafts. Not like a Star Wars situation where they pretty much messed up after the first movie. Even then, you can argue they messed up with what was it? Force Awakens, but I digress. And so, Jack, what are your overall thoughts of the move on Spider-Man No Way Home?
I mean, I pretty much liked it. I kind of had to after a while before the movie itself, like I kind of accepted that I just have to deal with this new Spider-Man and kind of find things that where I would not so much not so much like forcibly like him, but meet common ground to where I'm like, okay, I can see how I can dig this part. The only thing is that Ned is quite aggravating to me. That's the one thing that I don't really like. MJ, I can slide. I can let it slide just because it's like, it's just there, but it's not there. It's like it's not disruptive compared to Ned.
Yeah, and also Virgo's in the chat. He goes, "Toby Mac is the Messiah. He shall end everything right here and now." You know what's funny? That's even funnier for me, Virgo, because I know you're referring to Tobey Maguire, but I kid you not, there's a contemporary Christian artist named Toby Mac. Yes. So that's even funnier for me.
Every time when I read, I think he said something on Twitter about Tobey Maguire, but he put in Toby Mac. I'm like, wait, does he listen to Christian music? Because, like, I was genuinely confused until like looking into it a little bit more. I remembered that sounds like Tobey Maguire. But hey, if you like Toby Mac, go ahead.
Don't let it stop you. He's all right. I like a few songs of his.
I like a few songs.
Yeah. He's at least he puts effort into his music, unlike modern contemporary Christian music.
Yeah.
Well, before they really started to try to follow the pop trends, that's really is. But I digress. Now, I would say though, I would say though, the future of the series does look promising, but if the ending is to be believed, and which by the way, I think the ending of No Way Home, honestly, that will surprise me the most because it's a very bittersweet ending, and I think it was the right call for Peter by the end. After everything is said and done, how he didn't try to, um, he essentially he made that ultimate sacrifice with essentially
Mhm.
with everyone forgetting who he is like at all.
Yeah.
Losing everything he's ever garnered or known about him, but of course losing his best friend and his girlfriend.
Hey, maybe they'll write the love relationship and get better.
Maybe, but I'm hoping, because if they want to continue with this version of Spider-Man, that they don't try to bring Ned or Zendaya back.
Okay, like
Because
what if? Oh, actually, yeah, that's true.
then it kind
Isn't
of
there Gwen Stacy
um
in this one? I don't remember.
no no, there's no Gwen Stacy that's been established, so she can always always be put in. I mean, they could actually be somewhat accurate, and she could be a character that Peter meets in college, which like it is in the comics.
True.
Only thing is, she'll probably be have a better life considering there's no way another Green Goblin can exist because so there's no Oscorp, there's no Osborn in the MCU. So hey, Gwen has a chance of surviving in this universe.
Don't jinx it.
Oh yeah, but I'm just hoping that they actually do follow up properly with how this movie ended, and that Peter literally has to start over. I do like the little detail that he has to get his GED, and I think the a lot of people who are gonna be really critique this movie, I think they'll really go into like how exactly can Peter do anything if no one remembers him? Because does that mean what about his social security, birth certificate? Which I'm going, it's not important. Do we like are those details that important in the movie to your experience, to you enjoying the story, that that it's gonna decide how much you enjoy this movie? If you're gonna go into little details like that, it's already a comic book movie. Logic was lost a long time ago
Well, even
when
then, didn't they say it was a spell that makes people not remember who's Peter Parker is? Not that exactly he doesn't exist.
yeah. So who knows? Maybe in the next one they'll go in the nitty gritty of it of what exactly how they do that. But it's essentially but in essence it's essentially how it operates. It's not that he doesn't exist, but no one knows who he is anymore, which is just as equal to it not existing. But
And
yeah,
at the same time,
it's not literally non-existing.
I think you and I already discussed this part, but like, wouldn't it really be like when it comes to Doctor Strange, wouldn't it like not matter to him? Because I mean, he would know that he used the spell somehow, and especially how at the end of it, he'll he'll try to. I think the movie for the end, the other one will be discussing about that part later. But wouldn't he still know that he used the spell and then be eventually like, oh, and then the Spider-Man wanted to come in and be like, hey, you used the spell to forget me, and remember I'm Spider-Man because they know who Spider-Man is, but not Peter Parker.
Right. Yeah, that is definitely gonna be something they're gonna have to explain in the Doctor Strange sequel, or maybe he's not bringing it up at all and just not highlighted. Yeah, because as much as like essentially as a good reset this is, it does come with its own fair share of problems, but those are problems to be solved another day. For now, let's just enjoy that Peter is now he's gonna live the Toby experience.
Wouldn't also James Jameson kind of like be like, wait, how did I get all this money and this fabulous new art studio and news studio compared to his old little den in the basement?
John Jameson?
Huh?
Who? Wait, are we?
James Jonah Jameson.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you talking about his son.
No. Like how he's gonna be like, how did I get all this money? He's gonna know that he made something about Spider-Man, but he won't remember what.
I mean, at that point,
made him all that money.
At that point, he's not gonna question. He's like, as far as he's concerned, him talking about Spider-Man is what got him to that position. So, it's gonna be a weird thing to explain. Which maybe back then it would have been more simpler, but because you live in the internet age, it's very hard for things to be forgotten.
Johnny Cage, I'm sorry.
God damn it, Jack, a wizard did it. Oh, Ghetto says Betty Brant already looked a lot like Gwen Stacy. Yes, she did. Yes, she does. And he says, unless they decide to adapt Ultimate Spider-Man and have her kill Pet Carnage. God dang. Hey.
Oh no, that's a red one.
Yes, and Venom's the bluish black one, depending on the lighting. Oh, I gotta love old comics. It's the funniest thing. You will see sometimes Venom colored in blue, but that's just no. That's just a way of showing the light hitting his the gooey surface of his. He's not actually blue. But then you get Marvel vs. Capcom, they actually just draw him blue. In fairness though, for some reason, Spider-Man always looked a bit orange in that game. I don't have no idea why. I always have to pick his second color where he actually looks red and blue. I don't know why he looks slightly orange. Weird. Yeah, this is to say Capcom don't know colors.
Well, don't they have alternate colors?
Yeah, but I just find it's just weird. This is mostly for the old games. How the Spider-Man's default color almost makes his costumes have an orange hue to them, but when you take his second color, it's the traditional red and blue.
Like I don't remember that, and I played the old ones too.
It's something it's something I noticed a lot when I was a kid because it bothered me so much. It bothered me that much. That's why I noticed.
The only thing that ever struck me when it came to Spider-Man and those games, it was just his pose, his idle animation.
It's Sugoi. That's how a real spider should act. Johnny Cage says the blue in the odd colors is too dark. Not for me. It's not. It's just right. Ghetto says, I love that almost all of Venom's abilities in Marvel vs. Capcom they made up for him because they figured he should be able to do that stuff. That's true, because prior to that, he just had Spider-Man's abilities. He couldn't do crazy stuff with the symbiote.
Gonna turn into goo, even though he's an actual person behind that too.
Still an alien. But I think that pretty much sums it up. I'm actually excited for at least for the future of Spider-Man in film. Hopefully, they don't try to devalue what was Spider-Man's big sacrifice in this film. And you know what? And also, if it really shows anything, I'm also open to maybe further adventures with the other two Spider-Men. Now, will it happen? Probably not. Those actors probably don't want to be still doing Spider-Man, especially they're much older, especially Toby. By the way,
he's having back problems apparently too.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I do love that they comment on his outfit. Like, you look like a cool youth pastor, and I'm like,
my
yeah,
God,
I'm like, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate.
Whoever made that joke from the script writers, kudos to you. Like, my God, I never thought of it that way. Like, God damn.
Right on the money with that one.
Way too right on the money on that one. You might as well be an extra or like a lead character in God's Not Dead.
Oh God. Spider-Man meets God. I'm sure that's a comic somewhere. I'm sure of it. I mean, I think the closest you can call it that is in the '90s show, where the final episode in which Peter actually meets Stan Lee. And think about it, it's Peter meeting his co-creator.
Yeah.
That's as close as Spider-Man meeting God. And God just happened to sound like this. Excelsior.
Also, I love the fact that all the other Spider-Mans were able to fight like extraordinary things, and then the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man just fought a big lizard.
You know, he fought an electric guy.
An electric guy,
and,
but
and
he didn't find an alien.
And his own Green Goblin.
But he didn't find an alien.
Oh, that's true. Also, I did like the quip of like with when Tom said, you know, it's part of the Avengers, and they're like, cool.
What's the Avengers?
What's the Avengers?
Is that a rock band? Are you in a rock band?
I do like they were able to add those little moments of comedy in the final action scene. So it was like that was actually pretty, and that makes sense because there's like, and when you look at the world of Amazing Spider-Man and Raimi movies, they're literally the only superheroes to exist.
And then of course the whole wait, you have magic in this universe?
Oh man.
I just like how they shoehorned in the whenever Andrew was kind of feeling down for himself, he's like, "No, come on, man."
Oh, and of course they
you're an amazing Spider-Man.
You're
an amazing Spider-Man. You're an amazing Spider-Man. Come on.
Actually, I actually did like that. I'm like, you know what? He deserves it. Yeah, he deserves it.
Like, come here. Everyone did a little group hug.
Like honestly, for me, compared to all of them, he looks like the one who's gone through some things. Especially when he said, like, after a while, he was not holding back. I'm like, so that's what happened after the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2. He just got depressed. Like, it's essentially what happened to Peter B. Parker in the Spider-Verse movie. But instead of just getting fat, he just became more violent.
Yeah, just started going to bars, drinking, and then going out, beating up some random thugs with the bottle he was just drinking from.
I will love it if they incorporate, like, if they show that and he doesn't call himself Spider-Man anymore. He calls himself the Spider. Because that's the thing when I think in like during the 90s, Peter, when his narration, referred to himself as the Spider when he's going through like a dark phase.
I'm the Spider.
Exactly, like with that type of tone. Oh man. Also, and I do love the scene where I do love that when Zendaya fell and that was, and like I felt like Andrew Spider-Man he felt like I felt it with him because he was like, oh, it was like no, not again, no.
Yeah, like his face was more horrified than anyone else.
And he said there, and you could tell he's like, and I think then Zendaya like, "Are you okay, man?" He's like,
"Okay." Yeah.
like, oh man, maybe it didn't happen, but if it did, I felt like he probably would have hugged her real tight and maybe accidentally called her Gwen. And he goes, "Oh yeah, sorry about that." He goes back into the fight. That didn't happen, but I would love if there was like a take like that. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Oh, I see. So Ghetto says that that in an issue post One More Day, Spider-Man did meet God, and he says, yeah, he encouraged Spider-Man to keep his faith even if May died. Keep the faith, Spidey. Keep the faith. That didn't last too long because
the faith.
Oh, that didn't last too long considering he went. Wait, no, he still was post One More Day. Oh, never mind. Well, and that led to the best Spider-Man comics ever written by the best Spider-Man writer ever, right, Ghetto? Right? Everyone loves the Dan Slott run and his Spider Island and
Spider Island.
Oh yeah, there was a story arc in which everyone in the city was getting spider powers.
Hell yeah!
I think, from what I understand, it's one of the few good story arcs in like the essentially the late 2000s to 2010 Spider-Man comics.
And Jonah Jameson. I can't imagine Jonah Jameson just going around the city of New York with he's chasing Spider-Man, web slinging with him. Spider-Man, who are you? Come here. I can follow you now.
Yeah, you know what that is? That's a worse version of Venom.
I know where
Oh,
you're going. I know where you live now.
oh, that reminds me. You ever played the PS1 Spider-Man game?
Not often because I didn't own them.
Fair enough. But do you remember? There's a cutscene in that game where Spider-Man is swinging, and it's obviously it's established in the comics that that Venom doesn't trigger his spider sense because of the whole symbiote thing. So
Yeah.
what ends up happening is as Spider-Man's swinging, Venom's right behind him, and as he gets closer to him, he tells Spidey, goes, "Hey, want to race?" And he goes, "It's like Eddie." Like, come on, Spider-Man. I just love that because in that one, Venom kind of acts like he acts kind of like a bit very goofy. Because you would think it would like attack Spider from behind. No, he just goes right up to him mid swing and just asks, "Want to race?" Or the best part where they go into a server room. And remember, this is late '90s, so computer technology is still not common knowledge. At least not to the extent that it is today. So they go to a server room, and Venom's like, "Surf the web, surf the web, surf the web." He really wants Spider-Man to get on the fancy internet. Like, ooh.
Oh my god.
That 1998 internet.
Johnny K says, "Bro, why does your
David
sound like Randy Savage?"
Speaking of,
do you really need me to put it?
Come on, do it.
All right.
A freak show! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of playtime!
You should definitely add in under Randy quotes because he has, like, especially for his wrestling career, he has such great ones, like the cream of the crop.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, and
I might as well make a full folder of Randy Savage.
Do it. Tell Jack to do it. Make a full folder of just Randy voice clips. Let's see. Ghetto says part. Oh, it's just another line from the game where Venom says Parker hates it when I get the drop on him, and which Spidey says I hate it when he gets the drop on me. that game has its charm, and surprisingly, it's still playable. It's still playable, surprisingly. Johnny Cage says, and Hacks Venom sounds like coked up Ric Flair. Woo! There you go.
It clipped. Your mic clipped your mic.
Oh, man. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better. Ooh, yeah. Arsenio! Okay. Alright, that's enough of that. Oh, man. Let's see. How long we been live? Because the timer reset on my end.
2 hours and 30 minutes.
All right, I think it's about time to end. I think it's a good thing to end here. So overall, good flick. I'm glad that it took about. I'm glad it.
Oh,
hold on. Let me do some math real quick. I'm glad it took 3 years to finally get another decent Spider-Man movie. And you were gonna say?
I was gonna say something. So I was gonna ask your opinion on this.
Yeah.
I don't know much about, of course, the comics, so you need to kind of give me some info if I'm correct or not. But why does the Green Goblin in this one give this Peter Parker so much of a morality question? It's like the freaking. It has like that weird. I think it was the Killing Joker vibes, where it's just like, kill me, do it. He wants you to kill him to prove that that Peter Parker needs to lose his morality to be stronger, type of deal.
Let's see. Has
that always been the case, or is it just that Green Goblin just really hates Spider-Man and in the comics?
It's hates him. Well, hates him in that gets in his way, but it's more so. It's how when it's more so reflecting of essentially think of it as Norman Osborn showing his ideology. Because remember, especially within the comics, and it's definitely seen in the Raimi movie, that Norman has definitely a worldview of might is right. You know,
Yeah.
and he definitely showed that when when he got pretty much fired from his own company, expelled from the board. And what's the first thing he did? Kill all those sons of bitches.
Yeah.
So it's now obviously combined with the fact that he has um a multiple personality disorder where he can be where he's extremely threatening, but then almost be like as scared as a puppy.
Yeah.
So so think of it as it's his showing his the way he views things, and when he looks at Spider-Man, um, when he looks at Spider-Man, it's more so he sees, obviously he sees a person that not only always gets in his way, but he sees someone that he wants, that he can destroy in ways more than just what's physical. Because that was also the case in the first Raimi movie, where if you remember the rooftop scene, they actually
Yeah.
had a one-on-one talk
Yeah.
where even Gabi said like, what we can fight over and over and again, but what would that lead to? Just broken bodies. So so I'm essentially going to prove myself superior to you through what I believe in by putting you into this moral quandary. And that's what the same thing that not Defoe, that Green Goblin, this movie is doing the same to Tom Holland's Peter. Because up until then, there was no. You can maybe question with the Vulture, but at the end of the day, he's still a thief, and
Yeah.
he's just his it's just that he's very similar to Sandman, where you're very much understandable why he chose the life he did. Mysterio, like he's a con artist who's just taking out his grievances against Tony on Peter. That's really it. And so Green Goblin, he's actually a villain that actually pushes Peter to his absolute limits. Very similar, I guess you could say, in how Joker can be interpreted, how Joker was interpreted in Killing Joke. Um, although I'll say it was that much, not so much better. Um, but I guess it's more accurate to who Norman Osborn is overall. Since prior to Killing Joke, Joker was never really that type of villain.
Yeah.
He was literally like the clap the he was either a gangster or a thief with a gimmick. I think Killing Joke is what brought Joker to to the level of this criminal who really pushes Batman's morality. But
Yeah.
prior to that, not really. That was more like Ra's al Ghul's, and sometimes even Riddler's more shtick of doing that.
Gotcha.
So let's.
Johnny Cage says, "Man, that's the closest we'll ever get to Defoe playing the Joker. Don't question it."
Hey, I like this reality of him playing the Green Goblin. Green Goblin is also great. Is also just as great as a villain. So, and besides, with the Joker, we already got tons of great. There's more good Joker performances than bad. So,
Yep.
I mean, it'll be nice, but at the end of the day, you still got Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill.
Oh, I found another bad one.
Hmm.
And it's not really from a movie or any show, but it's from a game.
Hmm.
Apparently, this one mobile game called State of Survival, which is like one of those like build your land type things. Like you get a city, you have to build it up to level something, and then you
Oh, and
use up resources.
yeah, I
Yeah,
gotcha.
that type of game apparently was able to get, like, actually legally get the Joker to be put into the game, and my God, is the worst ad ever. I never played that part, but worst ad I've ever seen.
Oh, now we have to watch it now that you mention it.
Oh, you want to see the ads with the Joker? Than me.
I'm sure the audience will be interested in seeing it.
All right, we're gonna be not sponsored by State of Survival.
Johnny Cations, did they put the Joker to Fortnite yet? They already have.
They already have.
Yes, but granted, who is it in? The question is, who is it in Fortnite? I mean, they got Chapolin. It's like, seriously, if they got Chapolin, who is it in Fortnite? The only characters who are in Fortnite are, at this point, are just Nintendo characters. And that's because Nintendo are very secure.
Okay, here's the actual. Here's one of the ads. I guess this is the official ad. I don't know. I'm gonna send it to you on sources. Oh god, that face.
Looks like they're going trying to make trying to use the Arkham design a little bit.
Yeah, it does look like that.
All right, let's see this 2.5 minute ad. Good lord.
Yeah, I know.
Johnny Cage, Chapolin is nothing sacred anymore. Hey, they did. At least they didn't get Chavo del Ocho.
Don't. Don't. People, if they got Chapolin, they're eventually gonna get Chavo del Ocho.
All right, I'm ready.
Chavito, I don't have the scar anymore. I need more ammo. I don't know how to do his voice in English, but all right.
I'm ready. I have the video ready.
And go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so what is this? Nonsense.
Don't look so sad. I'm just trying to help. And your mama will be so very proud.
Oh, that's that's not a good voice.
No.
Relax. Soon you will forget about the
By the way,
pain
this
in your pathetic life.
It's a bunch of zombies. It's like a world of zombies.
I see.
I'm gonna give you a reason to laugh once more.
So Joker zombies?
I guess so.
Yeah, pretty much. Man, his voice is terrible.
Yeah, it truly is.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Oh god, that face.
Yeah.
Oh god, that face.
Wow, the Joker.
Looked like he nutted.
A little bit. Yeah, a bit uncanny valley there in the Joker's face. Wow, the Joker toxin so bad, can even kill a zombie? God dang.
What now?
Stay where you are.
Shoot him!
I didn't even see it get this far.
Shoot him!
Hold him there. We'll be right over. Roger.
Oh no, the zombie's Batman.
Did you see that?
I'm Batman.
More like just turns to Christian Bale's Batman. Wait, where's Joker?
I guess he ran away.
Or he just stood there.
That's more like it.
Oh.
Let the fun begin.
Oh god.
Yeah, that face needs work.
By the way, there was only like 30 seconds whenever I first saw it. So this whole other part was new to me.
Yeah, that's... I mean, not the worst Joker thing I've seen, but definitely not the best.
Oh, it's Sarge, one of the characters you can get. Oh, that's that one girl you can get with the dog.
I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
I did play the game before, and there's some of the characters. Okay, so the way it works is like I think you get heroes in a way, and these heroes you can use them as like the commanding officer for the armies.
I see.
So the way this trailer makes it look like as if you're trying to find a Joker and try to like stop him, but it's weird because I'm assuming since the Joker's in this game, you're gonna have him as a hero to collect for your army.
What is this, Injustice?
I don't know.
I don't know. Speaking of Injustice, Ghetto says it's like a worse Richard Epcar impression. Yeah, and his
here's the bad ones.
That good
here's
too.
the bad. Here's those bad ads I see every single time I'm on TikTok. There it is. I'm gonna show you. This is the last one. It's like 30 seconds.
All right, all right.
This is the bad ones I see on TikTok.
Oh,
I like how this person
oh,
had it from the ad.
Oh, I see.
It's an ad within an ad. All right.
Go on.
Oh, you're already watching it?
No. I'm set. All right, I'm ready now.
3, 2, 1, go.
So he's literally recording the ad?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Oh my god, it's one of these. These type of mobile ads.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Look at that, the Joker helping people. Wow, that's weird.
State of Survival. Download now.
I like how this man that got this ad because he was probably wanting to watch something else. He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna make the big bucks. I'm gonna record this so people could see it too."
863 views. Hey, bigger bucks than us.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right. Let's actually start. Let's actually start any things here. Johnny Cases, that's what you get for using TikTok. Oh, he got you. He got you.
I was expecting the Indian Joker TikTok.
All right then, Jack. Anything to announce until the next episode of the JAC Show?
Let's see. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with the very late after hour streams. I probably gotta take a break from those very late after hour streams. I've been doing streams recently at an actual reasonable time, like around 6. Throughout the on my days off, Monday, Tuesdays. So for now, the very late after hour streams are gonna be that. In case if I feel like doing something very late after hours, it will show up. Other than that, I'm gonna actually be moving around my schedule on Twitch to show like the actual official time frames when I'm gonna be playing for streams.
Awesome. And as for me, consider this me being active on the channel again after essentially a 2-week YouTube vacation. I'm still not ready to go back on Twitter, so social media presence will still be 0 aside from the Discord and all that. Aside from anything on YouTube, let's see here. Saturday, there definitely will be a chill stream. Since I did 2 vacation, a lot of the stuff was already planned ahead, like my next comic review. We're definitely put on hold for that reason. So I'm gonna go back in finishing those up, so we can go on to the next Spider Blood. Really focus on that. And as far as and as well as live streams, this Sunday, we're gonna have a very special Metal Sunday live stream. It's very similar to the one we did on the new wave of British heavy metal, in which is going to, instead of focusing on one band, we're gonna focus on an assortment of bands for this week. And the theme the theme here is that we're gonna look at either bands who only have one album, or the discographies are too short for us to cover a full stream about, or straight from Kevin's mouth, covering albums from bands he really doesn't like Slayer. but there's one or two things. But he does some things but he also highlights some of the good stuff he does enjoy from those type of bands. But do expect that. I officially dub it the Metal Sunday Mania live stream. So hopefully that will see you guys there. And of course, after that stream is over, it will then be re-edited into an actual video, like the Anthrax live stream. Other than that, that's what I'll have planned for the rest of the week, and my free time will be working on videos and such. So, with all that to announce, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of 2022 of episode 105, the JAC Show. It has been a great discussion. for Spiderman, and I'm actually excited to see what's the future hold for the web slinger when it comes to the cinema. And so with that,
oh wait, also, thank you everyone. We already started off with a bang for this year. I don't know, it might be small for some of y'all, but for me, I like to announce it. Thank you. We've already broken through our 100 subscribers. Now we're at 101 subscribers.
That's
already
right.
Started off on our road to 200 subscribers.
Well, let's. I would like to see we get 200. Not at the end of the year, but halfway into the year.
Hey, it'll be a great thing to see.
It'll be a great thing to see. We just have to put the work for it.
Yes, we do.
Oh my god.
we still are in the works with the
oh yes,
the rap song.
with the mixtape. It is going steady. I'm actually almost finished with the actual music, and after that, all we need is just the actual lyrics and to finish writing them, and then actually put in to record. And luckily, Jack has come fully prepared for this. That's all. That's all I'll say. He's fully prepared. He put in the investment, and he's better get some good out of it.
All right. Side note with that, it was not my intentions for it to be specifically for this mixtape, but now that you said that, now I'm actually obligated to do it.
And one last comment from Johnny Cage: start some good drama with somebody, you'll get there in no time. That's the problem, Johnny Cage. People actually have to know us. But you do have a point. Not the drama, but I should definitely start spreading the word about the channel, inviting guests and all that. Maybe this year could be the year of more guests on the main show. Who knows? Either case, it's a new year, so and new ideas, new possibilities. So until then, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for watching on the YouTube, on the Twitch, and this is Hack and Jack signing out.
Good night, everyone.